Alright, so I'm going to show my process on getting this body back to as good as original condition as I can get for what it is. I've got this thing blasted all the way down, epoxy primer inside and out as deep as I could spray it. From there I'll do all the major metal repair, floor pans, we'll patch in over here, little pinholes welded up. Got the, what needs replaced. Put the body panels back on. I'm still gonna fit the hood. Probably work the hood and deck lid off the car and then, give a final fit. Get it all adjusted out before the final prime and paint for sure. But where they have to beat and bang on the fenders and door alignment and do a lot of moving, shuffling parts around, I like to get that before doing the metal work. That way it can be worked together with filler if it needs to be, slightly on the edge. Getting obviously, the metal seamless on the edges. This thing's been wrecked on both fenders and doors and the same spot on both sides. So right now I'm going through and digging out, what filler the blaster didn't take care of. I just go through and feel and what low spots need to be pulled out. I'll grind those down to, you can see there, I'll kind of just hit them with my little 3-inch angle grinder with some air, and that gives me kind of a roadmap of what needs pulled out sheet metal wise. So I'll weld the studs to it in the next process with a stud welder. Pull out the low spots, dolly down high spots, and get the sheet metal as as close to original as I can get. So I think somebody had a boo-boo. They're taking this deck lid and probably raise it too high, and it's creased the entire back of the roof skin through there. So I'm just kind of grind it down to the metal. It'll give the stud welder somewhere to weld to. I'll weld it in the low spots of sheet metal, pull it out, dolly it around, and get all that sheet metal flat and flush before applying any filler. So after go through the entire car, doing all the sheet metal repair. Said I'm going to do the hood and the deck lid on stands. I'm just going to tie them down. Another benefit of this, putting the car together, is it gives you some stability to these panels as you pull the sheet metal. If anybody's ever worked these fenders, they know how big of a nightmare it is when they're not mounted. And not mounted in the position that it's supposed to be on the car. That can give you some problems with warpage and such. So this customer's not doing a lot of the any modification to the engine bay. Pretty much just going to sand it smooth and paint it the original color. Of course, got to straighten out things like the hood latch bracket there that somebody bent up, probably pulling the engine out. So found some old holes that somebody had drilled no telling how many years ago. So I got to weld those up still and dig all that old filler out. Good thing about these old cars, a lot of it you can get to the back side and kind of dolly out, make it nice and smooth. So I'll show you guys the next step on the studs, pulling the sheet metal out, and then just for future reference, after that's done, the car will have the filler work done and another coat of epoxy just to seal everything off, and then 3 heavy stages of like a polyester high build primer to get this thing really straight as we block it out. That polyester gets super rock hard, so it gives a good surface to start getting a good paint job on it. So I appreciate it. I'll keep you updated. All right, so after pulling all the sheet metal on the body with those studs, I'll kind of show you what we've ended up with. That can be dollied a little bit more from the back side. When you pull the steel up with studs, you know, it might leave little high spots, and I just take a 36 grit on the grinder, grind those down, kind of dolly it out, but it leaves a pretty flat surface. Don't require a lot of filler. Just kind of just showing you what the sheet metal work looked like. And it's ready for filler. The next video we'll kind of go over that. I'll run around this whole thing with 36 grit where I'm going to be applying the filler, kind of feather edge out the edges of the grinder work and start applying filler to 36. Work it lightly with 36 and 80 grit, followed by 180 before the primer. So stay tuned.